Hi everyone, it's me, Lubna. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. This video is dedicated to my beloved, and the topic of this video is going to be about the illusion of glamour. And this video is closely tied to the video that I made yesterday, which was titled The Unfading Beauty of a Gentle Spirit. And in yesterday's video, I had talked about how we should not seek external factors to make us more attractive to other people, but rather we should radiate beauty from within. So for today's video, I wanted to bring up a passage from the book that I'm currently reading, which is Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins, MD, PhD. And the passage that I wanted to share with you today from this book comes from the chapter titled Desire. And I wanted to share the entire subsection within that chapter that is titled Glamour. So I'll go ahead and show you the beginning of that subsection first. There it is. And I will read that aloud to you now. Here it goes. Glamour is a very useful subject to understand. Once we understand it, it greatly facilitates the letting go of desires. The book called Glamour, A World Problem, 1950 by Alice Bailey, presents the whole subject expertly. If we look at something that we want, we can begin to distinguish between the thing itself versus the aura, patina, flash, and attractive magnetic effect of a quality that can best be described as glamour. It is this disparity between what a thing is in itself and the glamour that we have attached to it, which leads to disillusionment. So often we have chased some goal and then, when we have achieved it, we are disappointed. That is because the thing itself does not coincide with our pictures of it. Glamour means that we have attached sentimentality, or we have made it bigger than life. We have projected onto a thing a magical quality that somehow leads us to believe that once we acquire it, we will magically achieve some higher state of happiness and satisfaction. This happens very often with vocational goals. The man works year after year striving to become president of the company or become important and prominent in some other way. When he gets there, he expects to experience all the satisfaction and the glamour associated with that level of achievement. The kowtowing by employees, the flashy cars, the prominent office, the labels, the titles, and the exclusive addresses. But what he finds is that all of these things are superficial. They are very inadequate compensation for the agonizing energy drain and daily grind that, in reality, the position necessitates. While he pictured that he would get admiration, what he often finds at the top levels is viciousness, competitiveness, envy, and the endless fawning and dishonest manipulations that occur to people in power, including the paranoid attacks by competitors. He finds that his energy is so drained that he has no energy left over for his personal life. His relationships are impaired. His wife complains that he is too exhausted to make love, too depleted to give her the energy she needs, too worn out to be a good father, and too tired even to enjoy a favorite recreational activity. The same thing occurs with women in the traditionally feminine areas of achievement. A woman thinks, for instance, if she gets a certain designer dress for the party, that the dress is going to bring her attention, adulation, and admiration, and that it will win her a certain social status. With much sacrifice, she spends a great deal of money and effort on the dress, running back and forth for fittings. But what happens? At the dinner party, there are a few passing comments on her dress, and that's the end of it. Nobody dances with her any more than usual. She is not more prominent than she was before the party. No more genuine attention is paid to her than previously. She gets some hostile, envious looks from other women who recognize what she probably paid for the dress. During the evening, she has the usual argument with her escort, and they go home in the car, barely speaking to each other, the same as in the past. As women make gains in the corporate and political arenas, they face the disappointment that accompanies longed-for, glamorized leadership roles in the public. What was predicted to enhance prestige and esteem instead brings criticism, envy, and hostility, even from other women. The experience of achieving their goal is often not what they thought it was going to be. There is endless judgment of a woman's public persona and dress, and she may have the gnawing feeling of inner worry that she has failed her family by going for professional fulfillment. Winning is sometimes not as liberating as Glamour would want us to believe. Emotional goals are also glamorized by sentimentality and emotionalism. A certain excitement is projected onto the emotional event, for example, a reunion, a first date, or being elected president of one's class. It is made to seem more important than it really is in the overall course of events. After the event passes, life goes on the same, and disappointment ensues. Glamorization, of course, is starkly obvious in advertising. Here we see it sui generis. The cowboy is the glamorization of masculinity, and the ballet dancer is the glamorization of femininity. Men are attracted by personality, not by the brand. Thus, the cowboy represents the glamorized male who is rugged, cool, suave, and in control. The consumer projects onto the product that it will give him those desired personality traits. Glamorization is living at a fantasy level. Therefore, when we proceed to let go of a desire, we must dissect away that which is exaggeration, fantasy, and romanticization. Once we have relinquished the glamour, it will be relatively easy to surrender the desire itself. If you let go of the romanticization of the cowboy, for example, then the cigarette or the cheeseburger that he was handling in the commercial will lose its appeal. In fact, much to our surprise, we will find over and over again that the desire was attached to the glamorous fantasy. There was no reality in it in the first place. Because there was no reality in it, the world is constantly selling us dishonesty, catering to our desire for that romantic, glamorized aspect. It promises to make us more important than we really are. Glamour at that level of dishonesty is a fake. The mind protests, do I have to give up all that glamorous excitement? Do I have to let go of my pictures of emotional gratification and excitement? The answer is obviously no. We don't have to give them up at all, and we can achieve the goals effortlessly and easily once we are conscious of what we are choosing. We can have them directly. We can be attractive, but we won't get it in a fake way, such as driving a certain style of car. We will get it by letting go of our smallness and owning our greatness, thereby reflecting it out into the world. We can easily become that exciting person whom people are eager to know. Just choose to be that person and let go of the block of desiring to be that way. We can have what we want directly without detouring through some fraudulent promise that will lead us into frustration and disappointment. The way to become that exciting person whom people want to know is very easy. We simply picture the kind of person we want to be and surrender all the negative feelings and blocks that prevent us from being that. What happens then is that all we need to have and to do will automatically fall into place. This is because, in contrast to having and doing, the level of being has the most power and energy. When it is given priority, it automatically integrates and organizes one's activities. This mechanism is evidenced in the common experience. What we hold in mind tends to manifest. So that is the entire section titled Glamour within Letting Go, within the chapter on desire. And I thought that that section would be very important for me to share with you today, especially after the video that I had made yesterday regarding finding ways to be attractive outside of ourselves versus radiating beauty from within. As I had mentioned in my video yesterday, there are so many things that are sold to us on a daily basis that are advertised to us and promoted as ways to make us more attractive and more beautiful and gain us social status in the world. However, we need to realize that the real source of power and the real source of attractiveness and status comes from within. It's a state of being, it's not a state of having or even doing. And before that section that I had just read to you within Letting Go, David Hawkins makes a distinction between having or doing and being. He says that at lower levels of consciousness and lower levels of maturity, people tend to focus on having things and doing things, and they tend to define themselves based on what they have and what they do. And they pin their worth on their possessions and their titles. And then he goes on to say that as people ascend in their level of consciousness and in their level of maturity, they begin to realize that the true value of an individual comes from who they are, and everything else springs from that. So if you want to have a certain type of lifestyle, or if you envision yourself being a certain way, you can't start by seeking the possessions themselves or the titles themselves. You have to start from within by becoming a certain type of person. Like, for example, if you want to have a certain title, for instance, if you'd like to be a doctor, which is what I'd like to be, it doesn't work like you just trying to get that title without being a good person first, without embodying the values and the qualities of a good doctor in your character. And the same thing goes for any other major title or position that you might seek in this world. And the same is true for physical and tangible possessions such as cars and houses and clothes. If you just seek those objects and try to make those define you and help you to become a certain person, it won't work, because if you're not beautiful and if you don't embody the qualities that you wish to represent through your external attributes and your external possessions, if you don't embody those qualities within yourself first, then it's not going to be effective and it won't work in the long run. So in that section in Letting Go, as I said, he emphasizes being and the importance of being over having or doing, and the importance of embodying good values and a beautiful interior over seeking the things that society and advertising says are glamorous and will make us happy or gain us social status. What really matters in the long run is who we are on the inside, and we really don't need any of these things that are advertised to us and sold to us. Everything that we need is already within us. And this is the truth. And once we realize this, we set ourselves free from a lot of the things that society makes us feel that we need. We are made to feel like we are lacking, and we're made to feel like if we don't have certain possessions or certain titles, then we are not worth anything. But that's not true, and we need to deprogram ourselves from that idea and realize that we're already so valuable, and everything that we need to become the person that we want to be is already within us. So that is my message today about the illusion of glamour, and that is a very important concept for us to think about and contemplate. And I hope that you'll contemplate this today as a result of watching my video. As always, thank you so much for watching and or listening, and I'd like to wish you a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are in the world.